to set my heart on ice cold. I'm only here to even the score. Whoa. My mind is set, my grind is set, my heart on ice cold. We down right now, but did it before. Whoa. See from here we going up. Made the call, I shown up. Now the game is sewn up. Say my name is blown up. We up. We.
Hey, how you doing, folks? Chris Harris here. Another episode of Buck Sweet Sports Podcast, presented to you by A10 Studios. A10 Studios, man, swing by and check out the Facebook page, all the social media pages. Give them a like, share, follow. This is your place for all your local sports, high school football talk. Got a couple of members of the crew missing today, but we're gonna carry on. We got Coach Dre back with us. He missed last week. So welcome him back. We got the Midway Magic Man with us today. Unfortunately, like I said, Brandon Blackwell couldn't be with us today, and want to send our condolences to our co-host Brandon Ward. Had a death in his family, so want to send our thoughts and prayers to him and his family. Got a special guest for y'all today, man. For my Hobbton fans, y'all know him well, big time. Him and his brother did damage for the Wildcats back in the early 2000s. Southeast Raleigh assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback coach, Coach Brandon Simmons. Coach Simmons, thank you for joining us today, man. How you doing?
I'm well. Thank you for having me. I really do appreciate it. You guys do a very good job. We coaches across social media follow you guys' podcasts. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate that, sir. Appreciate that. And for the listeners don't know, man, when I first announced the expansion, Coach Simmons has been one of those coaches that have been really supportive of the podcast, always sharing our stuff and helping us get that engagement. So we definitely appreciate everything he's done, and definitely appreciate him taking the time to come on and talk with us. Like I said, this is a busy time of the year for these coaches, man. So we appreciate all the time that they give. We got a little quick. We're gonna do a little Q&A with the coach today. So, Coach Simmons, if you're ready to, we're gonna run this. We're gonna run this buck sweep. If you're ready.
Absolutely.
All right. Just to start off, man. For any of our followers that are not familiar with you, could you give them just a little brief summary of your your football history as a player and as a coach?
Absolutely. First things first, I do appreciate you guys for inviting me on, but just a little bit of information about my playing experience and current coaching experience. So like many people from Sansom County, I'm from Sansom County. My hometown is Newton Grove, North Carolina. I'm a proud graduate of Hobbton High School. As a player, I was blessed to be a part of a number of different championships from football, basketball, and track and field through the early 2000s. I will say this: we had great players, great teachers, great coaches, and everyone was on the same page. Their ultimate goal was to help develop us to the best of their ability. Again, shout out to my high school coaches, Coach Al Britt, Coach Steve Mallard, Coach Bird, Coach Searles, and Coach Miller. Those coaches did a very good job of running clean programs, and I wouldn't be here without them. All right. So that being said, out of Hobbton High School, my brother and I was recruited to play college football. We had the opportunity to play for 1 year at Elizabeth City State University. We played under Coach Waverly Tiller. He did a great job of recruiting us. That experience was fantastic. We had a chance to compete in the very competitive CIAA. And for those who are unfamiliar with the CIAA, all you need to know is mention Fayetteville State, and the rest is history. But that experience was a great one, a very good one. But after 1 year, my brother and I, we wanted to get closer to home. So we ended up transferring to East Carolina University. And while there, we had a chance to play under Skip Holtz. Great run, very, very fun moments. We went to bowl games. We beat nationally ranked teams, but most importantly, we graduated and had a chance to win a conference championship. Segue to the coaching. So, like many student athletes, when they graduate, they don't really know what's next. So I had an opportunity to first work in sales for Nike, And for a long time, I thought that that's what I wanted to do. But one day I went home and visited my old high school and realized that coaching was for me. So my first year, I went to Hobbton High School and I joined as a volunteer coach under Steve Mallard. Loved it. And 15 years later, here I am. I'm coaching at Southeast Raleigh High School. I love what I do, but I also get a chance to teach business education. I love what I do primarily because developing young people for tomorrow is high on my list, and I have a passion for it. So that's just a quick rundown of me as a player and currently where I'm at now.
Great. Kind of answered my second question. Why did you get into coaching? You kind of briefly touched on that, but I'll go to that second part of that question. Is who you believe is your biggest influence as far as coaching?
Oh wow, that's a good one. So yeah, like I just mentioned, I got into coaching as a volunteer coach through Coach Mallard. But as far as influence goes, man, there's so many people. But I'll start at the top of the list. At the top of the list for me is my mother. She did a great job of holding me and my brothers accountable, supporting our vision, and most importantly, she instilled the importance of hard work. So for me, at the top of the list, I'll definitely say my mother.
That's a good answer. that's definitely a good answer. Next question. So you're in Southeast Raleigh. So kind of tell us about how's practice been. I know a lot of us down there in the Southeast been rained out this week, dealing with the tropical system. But how's practice been so far? And kind of just give the listeners a little bit about how the process has been. Going through the spring and to the summer now into to fall practice.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say this. Shout out to my folks down east. Like I said, I'm from there. I'm from Eastern North Carolina. So my mother has been keeping me updated with the overall process. A lot of rain, storms, trees. So blessing to everybody down east. But I will say this, up here in Raleigh, we face a lot of similar situations. I mean, we was getting a lot of rain and, it has been a challenge. But I will say this, as far as practice goes right now, our student athletes or our young men have been working hard. Our coaches have been committed to helping our young people. And, we've been doing what we could. I mean, if we can get outside, we will. But if we have to go inside and practice in the gym, we'll do that as well. We've been having a lot of meeting times, board work, drawing and talking, and that's out of our control. And I do think that our football players and coaches have done a good job of embracing that 200%. As far as the process goes, I'll say this: at the conclusion of last year, our student athletes and coaches have been all in. Last year was the first year. Last year was the first time since the mid-2000s that Southeast Raleigh has returned to the playoffs. So that being said, we're very excited about making it to the first round in the 4AA playoffs. But I will say that beginning of winter, our guys have been committed to working hard and just getting better. We were fortunate enough to have a number of our athletes to play winter sports and then play in spring sports. And for the ones that wasn't a part of a sports team, they were hanging out with us after school. So winter, spring, our athletes were working out with us, lifting and conditioning. And our coaches were on the road getting better as well. For example, if you follow me on Twitter, you know how passionate I am about professional development. I got a chance to go up and down the East Coast, listening to some of the best coaches in the country. But I will say that a lot of our other coaches have been doing the same thing as well. So that's pretty much what we've been doing: winter, spring, summer. We had a great summer. We were at a number of 7-on-7s and lifting weights, and our kids spent a lot of time with us at the school and vice versa. So that brings us to where we are now. For us, it being more the same.
Okay. And shout out to Coach Campbell and everything that y'all are doing up there at Southeast Raleigh, man. Like I said, I've been paying attention, been checking it out, and definitely excited to see what you guys can do this season. Now, I know me and you have talked back and forth a lot, but just for some of our listeners and some of my co-hosts here. Talk about some of the players that that have kind of stood out in your opinion. I know it's kind of hard to just mention a couple, but just off the top of the head, man, some of the guys we want to talk about.
Wow. I will say this, it's a good problem to have when there's so many players
Oh
in your
yeah, oh
program
yeah,
that's
oh yeah.
committed to working hard. But I mean, I'll keep it light. I mean, for example, we have a number of standout players on the defensive side. Those guys have been doing a good job. I mean, Keyshawn and Glazer and Divine. I mean, the list goes on and on. There's a lot of talented defensive players over there. And on the offensive side, it's more the same. And we have Zayden, offensive linemen, and our running backs, our wide receivers. There's a lot of players that have been committed to it. The cool part about our players, and again, if you follow us on social media, you know that we're all about pushing our players out there. But the great part about our players is that we get a chance to see them in school all day as well. So on the field, hey, I'm Coach Simmons, right? But inside the building, hey, I'm Coach Simmons or Mr. Simmons, and we get a chance to see them in a different light. I will say that our student athletes are serious about their academics, and they all understand that there's a life beyond football. And our number one goal at Southeast is to prepare our student athletes for life beyond Southeast. So again, if you want to play the college level, they've heard us say, hey, listen, we're going to do all we can to make that happen. But if you just want to work, or if you just want to enroll in the military or go to college, well, guess what? That's okay as well. So, that's just a snapshot of just a few of our guys. And again, I do apologize if I can't name every single player, because we've got a lot of players that are doing it the right way. But those are just a few of the many guys that are committed to our program.
And like you said, that's a good problem to have when you got so many guys that just can't even name one. But that's a great segue into my next question. Now, you say you got your start, volunteering at Hobbton High School, and I just want to ask you, like, how is it like going from a small 1A program going up to a bigger school in the Raleigh area? Like, how much of a difference do you see as far as as far as that coaching, from that coaching perspective, and as a player, man, just that difference between that small rural 1A program than going up there to Raleigh and coaching at a big 4A school?
I'll say, and I take a lot of pride in getting my start at a 1A school, being a part of a 1A school, and still following a lot of teammates and friends that were also a part of it as well. But I will say that the primary difference between the two is usually just the numbers. For example, at Hobbton, on our varsity, the years I was there, we played in all three phases of the game. We were in tip-top shape because of it, but that's just how it was. Again, look at a Clinton, look at a East Duplin, look at Wallace Rose Hill. I mean, that area, again, you have to be in tip-top shape because you're going to start 2 to 3 phases of the game, and that's just what it is. So I will say that the primary difference between a 1A and a 4A school is just the numbers that you get. But I will say that if you're a player, regardless of if you're 1A or 4A, the college coaches will find you. And 1A through 4A, I mean, football is still football. So I will say the primary difference is really just the number of kids that want to be a part of your program.
Definitely. So this next one's it's gonna be a tough one, man. With you having so much experience in all these different types of levels, man. What would you say is your favorite football memory? It can be as a coach or a player, or you can choose one from both.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I believe passionately in being where your 2 feet are. That's a motto that I believe strongly about. So I'll try my best to just narrow down just a few without taking up all the air in the room. But as a player, I mean, high school and college, the greatest memories I have is just, surviving preseason camps. I mean, it was hard at Elizabeth City State. It was hard at East Carolina University. It was hard. We used to have little mini camps in high school as well. That was hard. So great memory was just being a part of those processes, because what that did was that gave us the confidence to outwork other teams and find success on the field, from high school to college, and yeah. So I'll say, being a part of a team, being a part of something that's greater than yourself, and being a part of a championship. That there's no greater feeling than being a part of a championship, as a player. Segue to a coach. Wow, there's a lot of memories. I will say, as a coach, great memories is graduating our student athletes. Again, I can't stress that enough in today's climate. Like I mentioned earlier, helping Southeast Raleigh to return to the playoffs, for the first time since the mid 2000s. My first year as a volunteer coach, we went all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals at Hobbton and lost to a good, talented Murphy team. So, those are just a few memories that come to my mind when I think about my days as a former player and as a current coach.
That's great stuff, Coach. Like I said, man, nothing beats. My memories are like, just random stuff. Like I was talking about the other day, man. Like why was the water on the practice field so good? Like it was like it was blessed
Facts.
by the hands of, like, I mean,
Yes.
just little stuff like, and funny stuff your coach would say to you, and just little stuff like that, man. But I mean, nothing beats those memories. And
Right.
of course, I'll get into this a little bit later on. But man, I remember my freshman year going to the jamboree and finding out, man, who the heck is number 33 and who the heck is number 40 on Hobbton, because they are killing us right now. We'll get into that a little bit later. But moving on, this is one for my homers, man. Any Hobbton fans, listening. If for some reason, man, that Hobbton head coaching job ever came open, would you be interested in returning to Wildcat country?
Oh man, that's a funny one, man. And to be honest with you, I love Wildcat country. I love where I'm from, Sampson County. My mother still lives right up the street from Hobbton, and I still return to Newton Grove quite often, especially in the off season. When I be working with the student athletes in the eastern part of the state. But for me, I'm where my 2 feet are.
Oh, yeah.
And at the end of the day, if any of those situations pop up in the future, we'll take it day to day. But right now, my feet are planted at Southeast Raleigh, and my goal right now is to help us to have a good showing tomorrow. So that's my answer to that question.
Okay. Great segue to the next question, man. So what are your expectations for the Southeast Raleigh Bulldogs this football season?
The expectations is, like Coach Campbell's expectation. Our goal is to go 1-0 in every single week.
Okay.
Right now our mindset is on getting ready for our combined practice or scrimmage. And then after that, we have another one coming up this week against Reagan, a very talented Reagan team. And then once we, are finished with that, we're then going to shift our attention to game number 1. And that's pretty much what the focus is going to be for us week to week. But the expectation is that we're holding our guys to a high standard. I do the same thing as a teacher. I hold my students to a high standard, and based off of history. If you hold your students or athletes to a high standard, they're going to fight tooth and nail to rise to that level. Does it always happen that way? No, because there's so much that's out of our control. But we're going to coach every single game like it's our last, and we expect our players to practice and perform like it could very well be their last.
That kind of answers my next question. I was going, I understand. I'm about to get the coach answer, but just looking at your schedule, man, what's a game that you're looking forward to? And like I said, I understand. The goal is to go 1-0 each week, and the only game we're worried about is the one in front of us. But just looking at the schedule, is there anybody that stands out that you like? you got that game circled like it's a game that might have been a little close that you felt like you could have won last year, or you just somebody just really want to really want to show out against?
Yeah, I just answered it, but I'll say this, right now as a program, my focus is on week one. But I will say that, looking at our schedule and we have some very talented teams on our schedule. There's plenty of teams on our schedule that everybody in our program can get excited about. For example, I've coached at Wakefield before, so obviously, anytime that Wakefield's on the schedule, I get excited. I've coached against Wake Forest before when I was at Wakefield, right? So those are just a few examples, but our kids, they get excited every week. They're going to be excited about game one. They're going to be excited about Gardner. They're going to be excited about Cleveland, Fuquay, at South Gardner, because a lot of these teams that we're facing, our players have became friends with. They played on the same 7-on-7 team together. They personally know each other. So the beauty about our schedule is that there's a lot of variety on our schedule, so that everyone in our program can get excited about. And we as coaches, to make sure that our players remain tunnel vision, we do our best to keep them as focused on the game in front of them as possible, so that we don't overlook anybody. Because again, looking at our schedule, at least 6 teams made the playoffs last year, and the teams that didn't make the playoff, they were just like one game away from making the playoffs. So it's the Greater News Conference is a very, very, very tough conference to play in. But because of that reason, our goal is to hone in on the opponents in front of us.
Yes, sir. That's definitely what I would expect out of just a well coached football program. Like y'all got up there, man. Like you said, you want to be front side focused on that next opponent, and not overlook anyone. Like I said, that leave that up to us, the fans. We'll look ahead to the game. Like I said, I'm looking at you guys' schedule, man, and I'm looking at that October 18th game at Cleveland, man. I know that's gonna be a big one for y'all. A game that could really be Cleveland's a really tough program. Could be a good measuring stick game for y'all. But like I said, great answers, coach, man. This last one is gonna be a little funny, man. But I think we lost Magic, man. He's the Midway fan. But next week, week one, our first Bucks Sweet Sports game of the week is indeed Midway versus Hobbton. So I gotta ask, and I know I know kind of what you want to say, man. But I gotta ask you, man, who's winning that game next on week one, Midway or Hobbton?
Man,
Like I
wow.
said, you don't want just like I said, I want you to be able to go back home and not look over your shoulders.
Nah, so the funny part about it is that, even as a coach, I appreciate that rival game. I've played in so many of those games, so many Hoppner versus Midway games. We're talking about playoffs, middle school, high school. That rival game goes way back, and I could be excited about the lead off. It's unfortunate that the game is not the last game of the year the way it used to be, but at least the two programs get a chance to play. But the answer, well, this is my answer right here. So last year, Midway had a very good season. They went to the playoffs. They finished at 7-4. Hoppton, made the playoffs. They finished at 5-6. They got into a few shootouts, but they also made the playoffs as well. So both teams are 0-0. And to be honest with you, that game can go either way. Because like I know you've been following sports for a long time, and high school, pro, college, and when it comes to those rival games, anything can happen. For example, last night I was just watching the old Iron Bowl when Alabama was kicking a field goal and there was no time left in the clock, and Auburn called it and returned it for a touchdown. Like, that's the type of game that I expect Hoppton and Midway to be next week. So it's kind of hard to predict the winner, knowing that it's a rival game like that.
Oh yes, sir, yes, sir. And like I said, they've had some good ones. I know most fans are still talking about that that basketball game they had a couple years ago. Like I said, Coach, appreciate you taking time to answer my questions. Like I said, I think we lost Magic, but we still got Coach Graham up here. Hey, Coach, man, you got any questions for Coach Simmons?
Yeah, I got a couple. First question: what would you consider your biggest improvement from in the off season compared to last year coming into this season?
As in our players per
Yeah,
program.
Players as far as the scheme, like what would you consider your like biggest improvement is coming into this season?
I'll definitely say the buy-in. And again, our senior class last year did a great job of taking our program to the next level, but I'll definitely say the buy-in. I know, for example, offensively, this is the second year of the same system. Both our JV and varsity programs are able to play faster with more confidence. And the same goes for the defensive side as well. We're doing a lot of the same things, and even on special teams. So I'll say the continuity, the togetherness, and just the overall buy-in. A coach-led team will only take you so far, but a player-led team will take you much further. And we do have a number of players in our program that are taking that next step. So I'll definitely say buy-in.
All right. Second question. How do you feel about the addition of Coach Bullock? I know me personally, I get a lot of my DB drills and tips from him, and I seen that following him, he has his expertise with a lot of guys that he coached collegiate, a bunch of the young guys coming up in this young 2027, 26 class, being young 5-stars and everything. So how do you feel about his addition and how it could help your DB room in secondary?
Oh, Coach Bullock, man, he's a great addition, man. And he knows how I feel about him. Right when it was announced that he was joining us, I saw him in the hallway. I had a double take, right? Because I was like, hey man, like, where are you going next? And he was like, here. I said, wait, huh? You coming here? He said, yeah, man. But Coach Bullock, man, he's doing a good job. He's holding the defensive backs accountable, but he just brings a lot of energy to our program. And another positive about our staff is that we return like 95% of our coaches. So the continuity is definitely there, but we also have room for a high riser like Coach Bullock. We get a chance to go against each other every day. For example, I'll share our 7-on-7 script so that he can prepare the defensive backs and mix it up. And his addition to our program has really helped us out tremendously. But again, luckily for us, we have a great staff of veteran coaches, and Coach Bullock, he's a great addition. So we're very excited about him being here, and we look forward to his continued contributions in our program.
All right, question number 3. What are you looking forward to most this season, as far as team?
Man, looking forward to. I'll just say, game 1. And for us, it's been a long process because our players have done everything we asked them to do. They've shown up to every workout. They've practiced hard. We get on them. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So game 1, we're very excited about it because this would definitely be the official first snap of the 2000 of this year. So I'll definitely say game 1. We look forward to it. And then once game 1 is over, we'll shift our attention to game 2. Definitely.
All right. And then last question, any tips for upcoming coordinator, as in myself, me being the JV defensive coordinator?
Well, congratulations on that. And I will say this, take pride in being a student of the game. Take pride in learning as many roles as possible. Take pride in going to professional development sessions, and take pride in having a growth mindset. I will say as a coach that's been, I've been coaching high school and college ball for going on 15 years. It's funny because before I even got up here, I was working on the call sheet, but you never stay the same, and you get out what you put in. And, you can always learn something new. You can always learn something more efficient. And keep it simple, keep it simple, master the fundamentals and master the basics, and take pride in your organization as well, but yeah, that's how my opinion, that's how you climb. And when you get your opportunity, have fun in the process, and keep it simple.
Appreciate you, Coach.
I see we got Magic back on. Hey, Magic, man, you got any questions for the coach? Hey, look, he already made his prediction for the Midway Wallace game. I mean the Midway Hobbton game, and he said the Wildcats gonna kill you right now. he didn't say that, but you got any questions for Coach Simmons?
Yeah, I got a question. I'm sorry, I'm a little hoarse, but what do you think about Coach, when like you got a star athlete and you see all the stuff that's happening now with like players moving to different high schools and things like that? Do you try? I mean, you want them to dig in their bag and you want them to be great on the field, but at the same time, are you always coaching that next kid up? You know, because the way it is now, you know, like when you played and your brother played, and Ronnie Daltrey and a few of them other ones from Midway, Jason Torres, a couple of those guys, like y'all didn't move around like that. Y'all were committed to that school. You get what I'm saying? So how do you feel about situations like that? You know what I'm saying? That arises with you being in such a big school.
Well, I'll say this, and it is different, when it was coming through, you play with the homies, and that's just what it was. I mean, we played Pop Warner together, middle school ball together, high school ball together, and then if you're lucky enough in college as well. So we were tight. But with today's athletes, it's not necessarily the kid, it's more so the parent. That's just what it is. But we will say this, that we just hone in on controlling what we can control, which is building a relationship with them, showing them the way, and like you said, coaching up the next player. Because I do believe that you should coach all your athletes the same, and just hope that what you offer as a program fits what they're looking for as a student athlete. I will say this, I've been a part of this recruiting realm for quite some time. If you're a player, the college coaches will find you. Now, it is up to you to make sure that your academics are where they need to be. It is up to you to make sure that you're going to camps. And it's up to you to make sure that when you go to these camps that you're putting on a show. If you take care of your academics, if you make plays whenever your number is called, and just take pride in just being a solid student athlete, there's a place for you. There's definitely a place for you. So, I will say that, most students leave because they think that the grass is green on the other side. And in some situations that is the case, but in some situations it's not. So, if that's something that an athlete chooses to do, just make sure that you know what you getting yourself into.
Right. And I heard Chris say that you made a pretty good prediction on the Midway Hobbton game.
I was just playing, man.
No, I'm just messing. Hey, like I told you before, I already know Brandon Diehard Hobbton. He played out there with Derek Brunson and some of them boys like that, Mario and all them. Hey, I used to sit behind the goalpost so I could watch him and his brother on them 4th and 1s right there. I said, oh, somebody about to lose that helmet tonight. Because I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, y'all boys used to run through them. I watched y'all plenty of times, but I don't have no more questions. I just wanted to see where the coach's standpoint was from like kids nowadays. You know what I'm saying? It's like football's almost turning into basketball. They want the big 3 or the big 5, the big 11 somewhere. So you know what I'm saying? And, that kind of hurts when we small schools down here, Midway Hobbton, stuff like that. We small schools down here, and that hurts when athletes want to walk away and go somewhere else. And we're trying to have a great football program just like anybody else.
Absolutely. And I'll say this, at the end of the day, we as coaches, continue to focus on what we can control, which is, coaching the guys up, coaching who shows up, but pubbing your program. Highlight what the program is doing well. Like, hey, if there's if your full team of 4.0 students, put it out there. If your kid is giving back to the community, take pictures, put it out there. If the community is behind the program, put it out there. So just take pride in the little things, take pride in control of what you can control, because at the end of the day, the people that need to be there will be there, and the people that don't need to be there won't be there. And that's just what it is.
Oh, yeah. Great job that you're doing out there, Coach. Great job. Appreciate
your support.
Yes, sir.
I appreciate everyone's questions, man. Coach, I appreciate you taking the time to answer them. If you're busy and you need to cut out, man, just let me know, because once we start running our mouths, man, we kind of lose track of time sometimes. I've already, I got in trouble the first show, man. We went over our time period, but so get into a little bit of football talk, if y'all up for it. Just a couple of things I want to talk to our followers about. I made a post earlier. We're gonna do a little friendly pick'em contest each week between all of us hosts. So definitely be on the watch out for that. We ain't, it's nothing serious. We ain't putting no money on it or anything. Unless Magic over there smiling, man. We might do something like something simple, like maybe maybe last place got to buy the champion a meal or something like that.
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
Yeah, we'll see
when we'll talk. I love you.
I already know, bro. But yeah, just gotta remember, man, to think with your you gotta pick with your head, not your heart now. But yeah, that's a couple things we got going on, man. Definitely looking forward to the Jamboree next week. Like I said, still waiting on a little bit of more guidance, but what we are going to try to do is we will be trying to live stream the Jamboree and provide some color commentary for the folks that listen that can't make it to the game and want to check it out on 810 Studios. We'll be doing that. Speaking of the Jamboree, Magic, you talked about watching them boys back in high school, man. Like I said, man, one of my first experiences, with Coach Simmons was watching him and his brother, basically, man. I mean, that night, I'm like I said, I'm a freshman. The Jamboree's the big thing going on back then. Clinton's coming off of a state championship runner-up, and we're playing we're scrimmaging Hobbton in the Jamboree, and I'm thinking it's gonna be business as usual, But man, like I said, I seen number 33, and I seen, man. Shout out to your brother, man. Rest in peace, Jason, man. That big neck roll, man. Out there, y'all boys were doing it on both sides of the ball, like just punishing us. I'm like, yo, who is this guy? And I can hear Coach Salvo up top in the press box, stomping, man, like he does. Like y'all boys were put in the fear of God. And ever since then, like I said, at the end of the day, I'm a fan of the sport, even if it's a rival school. So when I see a player that really shows out, and I gotta continue to follow him, and definitely follow Junior brother for the rest of your time at Hobbton, to Elizabeth City State, to ECU, and always been a fan, man. So like I said, definitely appreciate you taking the time to come on the show, man. And like I said, it's been really really great, communicating with you and seeing what you do as a coach. But man, like I said, man, that's one of my first memories, man, that Jamboree. And yeah, like I said, just think about, like I said, there's a lot of great stuff. That's a lot of great football players that came out of Sanford County, man. And like I said, next Friday, be sure to swing by Midway High School and check out the Jamboree, man, because you'll see another great group of young men out there scrimmaging. But not to run my mouth too much, man, we want to just something I want to talk about. So often, we always talk about, when we talk about our greatest, memories as far as football goes, or greatest game we seen, it's always dealing with a victory, rightfully so. One thing I want to talk about today, man, is like either as a player or as a spectator, and it could be high school, it could be college, it could be pros. Like, what's one of the most bitter defeats that you've ever, either participated in as a player or witnessed as a spectator? And I'll give the floor to y'all guys. I didn't run my mouth enough.
And I'll chime in. I'll definitely say, as a player, my senior year, we were ranked at ECU, and we lost to NC State. At NC State, Russell Wilson was the quarterback. We were undefeated. Game one, we beat Virginia Tech in Charlotte. We blocked the punt. Game two, and they were ranked like, I want to say like 18 or something like that. Game two, we played West Virginia. They were number 8 in the country. We beat them in Greenville. Game three, we beat Tulane at Tulane, so we were 3-0. But we went to NC State and we didn't take care of business the way we were supposed to. I mean, we didn't execute on offense consistently. We missed tackles, and again, we lost to a Hall of Fame NFL quarterback and Russell Wilson. Andre Brown was also the running back from Greenville Rose. So for me, that was one of the harder losses that I've been a part of. But I will say that, and as Coach Skip Holtz was talking about the other day on Pirate Radio, that loss helped us that season because, we started feeling ourselves a little bit, and that loss was very humbling. But we did figure out a way to overcome the adversity that year and win a conference championship, which was the first time that ECU has won a conference championship since like 82. So that's my that's my bitter defeat right there.
Hey, Coach Dre, you got anything? Most bitter defeat, either as a coach or a player.
I can honestly say my most bitter defeat, and I talk about this every day, is we lost to South Columbus. I want to say it was 2016, when we first started, the hurricane season started coming to North Carolina. That's really when it first started for real. We started the season off 4-2. After the previous season, they didn't make the playoffs, and they were getting blown out by a whole bunch of teams. New head coach, Coach Ernest King, who's now at Westover, he came in, and we started off hot, and then we were supposed to play Fairmont coming into South Columbus. Hey, them dudes, that wing team was real. They had some dudes on moving guys. They were moving guys, and both running backs ran over 200 yards. And we lost to them by a point. We literally lost to them by a point. Our kicker that was supposed to be got hurt that game. He got hurt in practice that week, so we had to put in a new kicker. Offense drove down the field. They scored, and then I think it was the kicker. He missed the field goal. No, not the field goal. He missed the extra point, and then the extra point would have caused us to win the game, but we went into overtime, and then they scored. We scored, and then we tried to go for 2, and then the running back, they tried to throw a swing out to the running back, and the quarterback threw a little bit behind him, and he dropped the pass right at the goal line. And everybody fell to their knees on the sideline because the next couple games after that, we played Whiteville, Fairmont, and that's when Fairmont was at their peak. That's when they had Jordan Waters. And crazy thing is, we lost to Fairmont by 2 touchdowns, and then we lost to Whiteville by 2 touchdowns. Then South Columbus goes on to beat on Fairmont like 70 to like 30 in the playoffs and in the conference championship. So I can say that was my most bitter defeat because I felt like if we would have won that game, it could have changed the whole outcome of our whole season.
Yeah, it's definitely tough there, man. Magic, what you got? What your Raiders got out there?
I'll tell you like this. Being a spectator and the stewardess of the game and then watching all my family play between both high schools, I have to say, like, you talking about Jamboree, like lining up, getting ready to go to the Jamboree, you know what I'm saying? You getting ready, you like, yeah, my cousin gonna play tonight, I'm going to watch this, going to watch that. And of course, my Raiders go out there, all my cousins playing for my Raiders, we go down there and we see Hobbton, and then we get demolished by them and, Jamboree sometime. And of course, when Brandon was out there, Brandon and Jason, they worked on us real well, you know what I'm saying? But I think the one bitter time that really reflects on me is when we had the chance with Ronnie Daltrey, Jason Torres. We come to Clinton. It was our first year, and we got to play Clinton in the Jamboree. Huh? All I can hear is, hey, we gonna get them boys. We gonna get them boys. Huh? We got down there, and it was hey, it was lights out. I mean, they both played hard. You know what I'm saying? But Clinton had some decent players that year. I'm just gonna say decent. But because my family, you know, they be watching the podcast, so Honey and the boys get on me. But yeah, so and just losing to them in the jamboree because that was we always used to play Hobbton in the jamboree most of the time. It was always a Hobbton Midway thing all the time. And then I remember my cousins coming through the hallway and they were like, "We get to play Clinton in the jamboree this year." Man, we had so much blue down there in Clinton. I was like, "Uh-oh, we in here." Nah, we fell through. But you know, that was one of those times where I was like, come on, if we can just win a jamboree, you know what I'm saying? But so with these teams that we got now, you know what I'm saying, it's almost tit for tat, and you like Mr. Brandon said, you got athletes on top of athletes these days. So, you know, I'm just excited for the jamboree to come around. But then was one of the times when the stands was full of blue and Clinton, and we didn't have nothing for y'all.
Well, look, hey, that's all good stuff, man. I got two things for y'all. I guess my one as a player would be 2006 because my last high school football game, losing the state championship to Burlington Cummins. I mean, anytime you lose a championship game, it's tough. I mean, even tougher when it's your last game at the high school level. And we were pretty confident going into that game. We kind of had a up and down season. Finished the regular season 5-5. Went into the playoffs as a 10 seed. All our games on the road, but we started to click at the right time, man. We talk about championship teams. They peak at the right time. Peaked at the right time. Won all our playoff games on the road. Got there to Burlington Cummins. The feel for that week was if they're going to attack us, they're going to attack us through the air. I mean, that's Burlington Cummins. That's back when Coach Johnson was there. They were the ones that really always had that lethal passing attack, and they had two wide receivers, man. One was 6'5", Dwight Jones Jr., ended up going to UNC. His son currently plays for Reedsville. Really, really great athlete. Him, and they had another guy, Antonio Ferguson, I want to say his name was. Ended up going to Coastal. He was 6'6". We had one DB that was over 6 feet tall. So we thought, they were just going to try to, just throw the, high pointed using them big wide receivers, but they killed us with the run game. They spread us out. They knew we would have Brian Williams, our tallest DB, and probably one of our best tacklers out wide on Dwight Jones. So, and they just ran inside zones and draws on us, and it killed us. And what make it even worse is the running back for Cummins that year went to school with us. He originally was from Sampson County, went to elementary school with us. So that really sucked. But like I said, man, anytime as a player losing the championship game, that was tough. So as a player, as a spectator now, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of the game because any Clinton fan already knows the whole story, man. And I'm pretty sure y'all might have heard bits and pieces of it too. But as a spectator, 2015 Eastern Championship game versus Bun. Ask any Clinton fan about that game, man. I've never seen a team literally get a regional championship and a trip to the state championship taken away from them. And that's what happened in those final minutes there. But I'm not gonna go into the lag, but I'll just say it's one of those games that hurt so much as a spectator. I never watched a replay of the game, and I never even read the articles on it, sports articles about it, because it hurt. I hurt for those kids, man, because I really felt like it was some stuff that shouldn't have been happening out there that happened that night. But of course, those are my two in high school. And then if I just slide into the pro game real quick, 2015, my Carolina Panthers losing the Super Bowl. That sucked, man. That hurt. That hurt for days. That's one of the ones you don't even want to watch Sports Center for a month because I don't even want to hear nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? But man, I appreciate you guys your input and in the discussion. Before we start to close out, man, anybody got anything else? Matter of fact, Coach, man, if you don't mind, could you like kind of give us our followers and listeners some details about I know you're one of the lead instructors at Dynasty Athletic Performance, and can you kind of talk about what you guys do for the student athletes that you're working with?
Yeah. So Dynasty Athletic Performance, we're working on like year 6. I've always been passionate about training young athletes, not just on the field but off the field as well. And that is Dynasty Athletic Performance, which launched in 2019. We focus on student athletes ranging from the Triangle in Raleigh through Eastern North Carolina. And the main reason why, I still go back home is because I remember when I was coming through, the competitors that I used to compete against, there was ballers everywhere, so something that I take pride in doing is helping to bring exposure and awareness to athletes in the eastern part of the state. Since launch, I've had an opportunity to work with a number of athletes that are in college right now. One of my first athletes that I really started working with is Tymier Brown. He's now at East Carolina University. Out of high school, he was highly recruited, ended up going to UNC, played at Jacksonville High School. Now he's enjoying his time at ECU. But in addition to that, there's a number of athletes that are currently in the high school ranks right now, middle school to high school, including a few dark horses as well. So, very, so I'm very excited about the direction of the program. Yes, I am the lead instructor for Dynasty Athletic Performance. You can follow us on Instagram, on Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, and what you see is what you get. But I'm very, very excited about the direction of the program. And once the fall year closes out, we'll hit the ground running for winter workouts.
Yes, sir. Appreciate that. So definitely, listeners, definitely check them out, man. I find out a lot about some of the future athletes, man. I was hearing about Gavin Miller, a couple years ago, and I seen them posted on your page. So yeah, definitely a great avenue for young athletes to have here in Eastern North Carolina. Say before we close out, man, hey, fellas, y'all got anything else for the coach?
Nah, I ain't got nothing else.
All right, hey Chris, I wanna ask you something. So you was talking about Burlington Cummins, right? So my son, senior year, I think it's senior year there. We played them in the playoffs, and so I don't think they changed much offense. They still do. I mean, with Jonathan Paylor, he wore us out. They ran them. They ran that to the. They was throwing the ball to him left and right, handing the ball off, and he walked out. But when you were talking about Burlington, I said, "But Shane changed. They still about good."
They ain't changed a bit, man. They ain't changed a bit, man. Burlington.
And I tell you, from being a spectator and just looking on from going down there, it's hard to play down there. It's really hard to play down there, especially when it goes to their home side and all you hear is the band like you in college. Because our football, our quarterback couldn't call plays. Like he couldn't hear the coach. Yeah, all you hear was drums and cymbals. That's it. That's all you heard.
Oh yeah, definitely a tough place to play, man. Burlington Cummins always been a very prestigious program. Ton of great athletes coming out of there. And Jonathan Paylor, man, he was worth the price of admission, man. Definitely looking forward to seeing what he does up there in Raleigh. But once again, start closing things out. Coach Simmons, man, once again, I want to appreciate you coming on the show, taking the time, talking to us today. Definitely looking forward to seeing what you guys do up there. Definitely be keeping tabs on that. And definitely send our regards to Coach Campbell and the rest of the staff. And hopefully one time we can try to get him on the show as well. But once again, from everybody, I just want to say we appreciate you taking the time and coming on the show with us.
Absolutely. You know, I really appreciate you guys reaching out. And at the end of the day, like I said, you know, I believe passionately in what you guys are doing. You guys are growing. You guys are giving a lot of great intel to not just Eastern North Carolina, but North Carolina in general. Keep up the good work and appreciate you guys having me on.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Once again, for our followers, man, be sure to swing by BuzzFeed Sports Podcast Facebook page. Give us a like, share, follow. Be sure to check out all the great content we'll be posting this season. Swing by A10 Studios. Get them a like, share, follow. I mean, without them, none of this would be possible. So appreciate all the hard work everyone's doing. For all my co-hosts, we signing off, man. This is BuzzFeed Sports Podcast. Y'all have a great night.